a star. Vegas at the end.
NFR Extra is a weekly podcast that focuses on the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons that embody the rodeo and Western lifestyle.
But as far as like me getting on bulls and winning some money, who knows? I mean, legitimately, I could be Tom Brady of bull riding. Like, who knows, right?
Stay healthy.
She's like, no, you can't quit. Not for yourself, not for this and that. She was like, and like, what are you going to tell your kids someday, that you just gave up? Oh. All right, I'll get on the next few. I won't like it, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's not super expensive to get into. You don't have to have a background. You don't have to have a $100,000 horse to be competitive. All you have to do is have a lot of courage and a lot of determination, and you can go make it work. You know what I mean? And so I really want to give like that outlet out, just have it out there in the world.
Hey, this is Ty Murray, 9-time world champion cowboy here on NFR Extra.
Joining us on NFR Extra, I am Brylan Bentley. We have Steve Goder and Andy Seiler.
Guilty.
As charged.
And
the best.
In the business.
Going down the road.
Reigning and 7-time world champion, Sage Kimzey. Sage, thanks for joining us.
Oh, for sure. It's fun.
It's going to be fun. So you had 1 year where you didn't win the world title, but you are 7 for 8. All of your world titles have come in Vegas. Pretty cool little nugget there.
It is, for sure, yeah. Texas just didn't have the mojo going. 2020, blame it on COVID. That's what everybody else does.
Yeah.
Oh, you suck at your job now? It's COVID's fault.
You can't zoom a bull ride.
That's what I'm going to do, too, yeah.
It's not me, it's this pandemic.
Yeah, well, what happened to Sage? Oh, man, COVID really got him down. He just wasn't that good that year. I don't know.
Did he have COVID? No, it's just COVID.
Yeah, no, just COVID, man. It is what it is.
You don't got to have it for it to affect you.
Oh, 100%.
So tell us a little bit about the bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly just like me refocusing kind of my like career in life, I guess. Got to the point, man, like I've been doing this for quite a while at this point, and like I just didn't care to go get on bulls in 2020. And I know that sounds horrible, but it just is what it is. Like after round 7, Alexis is trying to like give me this pump up speech about how like, you know, I can still win the world and I've still got a chance and this and that. And I finally just looked at her and I was like, just quit. Like, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm over this. I don't want to go to the rodeo. Like, this is the National Finals Rodeo we're talking about. Like,
Right.
I didn't care to go compete at it. Are you kidding me? And it was one of those things that like, you can't force your motivation into something like that. You know what I mean? Like once you tie your hand in a rope, you got to have full conviction with what you're doing. And man, I just didn't care about being there at the end of the day. And it showed in my performance. Like I performed very averagely to my standards, and it just is what it is. So, I mean, coming off that, it was just a whole like refocus period and like figure out my why. I didn't have a why. I didn't have a good reason to do it. Felt like the whole year in 2020, we were just kind of spinning our tires. We weren't going to like the best rodeos that you want to go win. And I mean, I'm still super thankful that, you know, I got to put food on the table that year and make a little bit of money, but just the zest was gone, man.
So how do you rekindle that?
The biggest thing was the first rodeo we went to, and they announced Stetson as the reigning bull riding world champion.
Ooh.
I mean, that hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it had been the better part of a decade, and you know that was my title.
Yeah.
And you know that was a big part of it. And then honestly, just a lot of self-reflection and kind of figuring out like why I was doing this. Because at the end of the day, like I started out, you know, wanted to make the NFR, wanted to win the world. Cool. At the end of the day, the money's super cool. But like all of my goals were pretty much like checked off the list besides, you know, having the most world championships. And, you know, that's not going to make you like get up and go do something. You know what I mean? It's not real like tangible and here and now. So yeah, I just kind of had to sit down and reevaluate my life, honestly.
Well, you got, you know, like making the NFR, being a world champion, the money, that's cool. And when you strap yourself onto a bull, which I've never done, don't let my body fool you, I'm not a bull rider. You're convicted. You're set into that thing. You know that this can go really awesome or really poorly, but you're committed on that deal. when you're single, that's easy to do. And then you get married, and then you got somebody else to think about, and then you have a baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And little Steele. So Alexis was pregnant last year, and how's that going to affect, your mind thought for I'm riding bulls, but now it's like, man, now I got a family.
Yeah, I think if anything, it just made it all worthwhile to me. Because back to the why and the motivation, right? I mean,
Yep.
You always hear, oh, be a good person. Oh, try your hardest. Oh, do this, do that. And you're just like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, what does it matter? You know what I mean? But then, like, the first time you see your son and you know that he's going to be looking to you for guidance and how to live his life, it's like, oh, like, his future is in great part my responsibility, right?
100%.
And now that's a why. And that was like the biggest slap in the face for me is like, wow, all right, here we go. And even that, like in 2020 when I was struggling so bad, that was what Alexa said. I was like, I'm just ready to throw in the towel. Let's just leave. She was like, no, you can't quit. Not for yourself, not for this and that. She was like, and like, what are you going to tell your kids someday, that you just gave up? Oh, all right, I'll get on the next few. I won't like it, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it
Can't make
is
me
true.
enjoy
I
it.
mean, when you think about it, when you put in all this work and you are reaping the benefits of all of that work for an opportunity of a lifetime, I mean, how many bull riders would kill to be riding at the National Finals Rodeo and you're thinking about going to the house? I mean, that's a big moment. I mean, that's
for
very
sure.
telling for her challenging you like that.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want people to take it in the wrong thing. Like, I am very grateful for all of my success and like my life. Like, I'm very grateful for all of those things. But like, that's just kind of insight into where like my headspace was at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hard. And that's, this isn't golf. There's consequences to where, I mean, there's part of it to where like, hey man, even somebody in a full contact sport, like you're not feeling like playing, just maybe sit this one out, but that's the difference is, man, you're not riding, you're not getting paid, so there is always that to where it's like, you have to do this, but if you don't do it and you do it half-assed, like you could really get messed up. So that's a pretty tight line to be walking.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, you do. You have to be fully committed. 100% either way. That was the bad part though. Like, I didn't even care about like what the bad part was that could happen. It was just one of those things. Like, I was just numb to it all.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Not a good place. I'm glad I'm not there now.
Yeah.
All right,
Good.
so we fast forward.
Me too.
We fast forward to Daddy Sage. So
Mhm.
what is your best dad trait? What are you best at when it comes to dealing with the baby?
Oh, that's a good question. Alexis is the best at everything. Yeah, but yeah, I don't really know.
You don't change diapers?
Right now, just
No, I
making
do.
them.
Like,
You do?
I mean,
Okay.
I do all of the stuff. Alexis is better at me at pretty much all of it. But
you,
like, I
you
would
do
say I
both
probably
types
like.
of diapers, right? You don't.
Oh yeah.
just- okay.
Yeah. I don't discriminate.
Okay.
No, I would say like my best trait. I'm pretty level headed, man. Like
Okay.
when it comes to everything. So like, babies screaming, chaos everywhere around. Like, I can always kind of be this like the even keel one that's like, all right, we're gonna get through this.
Yeah.
There might not be any sleep for the next 48 hours, but
I was
we're gonna get
say,
through this.
Yeah. She's saying we're gonna get through this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. After I
Eyeballs
just came
taped
home from a
open.
nice weekend at Corpus Christi in my 4-star hotel.
Yeah.
She hadn't
Pretty
slept
nice.
for 4 days, and she's like, yeah, you're going to get through this. I don't know about me.
Yeah. Oh, you're leaving again?
Oh,
Cool.
you're tough, honey.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Go out here to Vegas. Get put up at a nice hotel.
How has your training transitioned over the years?
Oh, it's like it's 180 degrees going the other direction. So in 2014, my rookie year, and I've hit on this quite a bit, but like if you were one of the guys that did work out, you gave yourself a distinct advantage against everybody else. And like now it is a prerequisite to be in tip-top physical shape. And I think more than anything, it's running along the lines of longevity for everybody. And I know personally, like for me, I didn't have to look at a gym until I was 25. And it was like immediately 25th birthday. All right, you're going to have to start working at this a lot harder than you used to.
Mhm. So let's talk a little bit more about that training. What if you were to stay in tip-top shape and you pick your spots moving forward? What do you see longevity being for you riding bulls?
Hard to say, man. With my high level income advances in modern science.
150.
It's crazy.
I'm not
to
saying
think
forever.
I couldn't be riding until then. No, but like legitimately, I don't know what like the future really looks like, right? Like I've got a big goal and a big mountain that I'm almost at the peak of. So knock out these next 2 world titles and then we'll kind of see. But it really is like my thing. Everybody's like, oh, well, when are you going to retire? And it's like, man, I don't really have a date. If I enjoy getting on bulls, I will keep getting on bulls. I don't see that happening past 30 very far. But with all of the big money that's out there right now, a guy could legitimately pick and choose, go get on, at 30, 40 rodeos a year and make $250,000. And it's like, man, if you still want to do that, I would not want to go beat down the road 100%. Like I want to be there for all of my son's stuff. I want to be, the family guy that is there for everything. So the travel is going to be out of the question for sure. But as far as like me getting on bulls and winning some money, who knows? I mean, legitimately, I could be Tom Brady a bull riding. Like, who knows, right?
Stay healthy.
Yeah.
100%. That's kind of the thing on that. That's interesting too, because it seems like, you do have the factors now for the why. You've got the new baby, but you can't be looking. You hear it said a lot, like if you're thinking about retiring, you should have done it 2 years ago.
Right.
So like in your deal, you can't think about what my exit strategy is. It's I'm going to ride and I'm going, like you said, you're committed, you're tied on, and you just keep riding bulls until all of a sudden one day you just say we're done, because it seems way too risky to be like, I think I should maybe stop. It's like, then you should probably have stopped yesterday.
Yeah, you should have already done it for sure. And that's one of those things. I mean, like as crazy as it sounds, I literally think I'll just wake up one day and just be like, I do not want to get on a bull, period. Yeah. And I'll just be done. And like, there will be a lot of closure with that, because Tough Heatman, one of my favorite Tough quotes is, they're talking about guys like always coming in and out of retirement and kind of like piddling around with the sport, especially like your all-time greats, right? And he always says like he left everything out there in the arena. Yeah. And that's what I plan to do too.
Yeah. And by the time Steele starts coming up and saying, Dad, where are you going? And it's, and Andy and I talk about this all the time too, to where when you miss a thing for your kids because you got to go to work, and it's like,
Yeah, and I understand that it's like part of life, and honestly, there's like life lessons that go into that too. Like, yeah, you have to work and do whatever, but like if it's to the point that I really don't like need to, I mean, I'd much rather be there for everything that he does.
Yeah, that's something you never get back.
Yeah,
like you said, leave it all out there, man. No questions asked.
I got a 2-part question. So I want to know the bull that you just lick your chops at drawing, and then the other one is I want to know the bull that has had your number, or you're just like, oh boy, I'm really gonna have to bring it if I'm gonna make the whistle on this one.
Yeah, so like all-time favorite draw, he's since retired, but Bruiser was like the number 1 bull for a very long time. He was like everybody, that's the one you wanted, and I mean, he was just the dream draw, right? He's a perfect bull, legitimately. Toughest bull, I don't know. There's a couple that I like didn't really get along with. Mortimer of Julio Moreno's was probably like number 1 on that list, and it didn't matter like what happened. It just always seemed like some like freak thing happened. Like the second time I got on him, he literally put his horn like under my face mask and like ripped me off of his back. I was in a good position too. Put his horn under my face mask and just like ripped me to the ground. And literally after that time, I was like, I'll never get on that bull again. So I don't know why, but his name, there's just way too much coincidence going on here.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. Looking to rope in some new news and features you can't find anywhere else? Then look no further than the series of blogs and vlogs at nfrexperience.com. You'll find customized content on all things rodeo and Las Vegas. There's the NFR Insider with Susan Canode, Hurley's Hotspots, NFR Experience, Junior World Finals, one-on-one with Wrangler contestants, Behind the Chutes, Heart of the NFR, and Gold Buckle Buzz. Every year, rodeo fans make their way to Las Vegas to immerse themselves in the Western lifestyle. For many, their NFR experience includes a trip or two to the Cowboy Channel Cowboy Christmas in search of more. More time with friends, more fashion, more entertainment, more choices, more autograph sessions, more you, and more Vegas. The Cowboy Channel Cowboy Christmas, December 1st through 10th at the Las Vegas Convention Center, South Halls. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's all here.
Every December, the next generation of rodeo stars makes the trek to Las Vegas to compete in the Yeti Junior World Finals. Watch the competition in 9 events as these kids hope to open their presents early. For 10 days, it's all about more cowboys, more cowgirls, more competition, more champions, and more Vegas. Don't miss rodeos next up at the Yeti Junior World Finals.
What, out of the longevity of your career and all of your world championships, is there one moment or one ride or one time that sticks out more than the rest of them?
I'd say there's like quite a few. The Bruiser ride for sure. Round 10 at the 2018 finals. It was really close. We didn't really know if I needed to stay on or not. But at the time, I thought I did. Was 93 on Shooting Stars of Butlers. That was like a huge moment. It's like those gut check moments, man. Those are the moments that I'm like, all right, because it seems like every time like I need to rise to that occasion, like if my mind's set to it, it happens.
Yeah.
And like those are just the kind of the big moments. And even like last year at the finals, man, like with the way the ground money situation was going and everything, like Josh would have been the world champion if I didn't stay on in round 10, you know. And it's just that thing. It's like, man, when all the chips are down, who shines? And like those are the moments that I really remember.
So you and I were talking earlier today about rivalries, and it's almost this thing that people talk about, but I don't know that it's ever really been addressed on a medium. But the rivalry between you and Stetson, is it real, or is it just something people like to talk about, and it's almost like a Kardashian thing?
Yes, like to both of those things. Like, yes, it's real. Obviously, like, you know, it's stiff competition, and right now, like the top 3 guys in the PRCA right now is Stetson, me, then Josh, standings wise. And like at the end of the day, it's whatever TV wants to build it up to be. Like, it's not like I have like disdain or hate for Josh or Stetson, either one. Like, I like those guys. But at the end of the day too, like I want to come home with a gold buckle. You know what I mean? So I think it's probably built up more like on a rivalry, like me versus him, than it is. Because it's just not really the case, right? It's like at the end of the day, it's whoever can stay on the most bulls, especially at opportune times, is going to be the world champion. Especially when you come out here with how much money is at the NFR. Like, we all know it's coming down to a 10-day shootout in Vegas. That's just how it is. Like the regular season, yeah, you can get X amount of a lead, whatever. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, it comes down to a 10-round playoff here in Vegas, and whoever does good gets the buckle.
How do you keep yourself physically sharp during that 10-day period? Because that's a lot. I mean, you're getting on the best bulls 10 days in a row, and you may buck off 2 or 3 in a row, and you still have to regroup and go, I got to finish this thing out.
Yeah, sleep's the biggest part, honestly. And it's the part that's the hardest to come by in this city for sure. You know, over the years, you get like tricks of the trade. I don't do well in low humidity climates, so like I always have to bring a big humidifier out here and try to make myself pretty comfortable as far as sleep goes. But yeah, it's honestly just getting that good rest, because like our days are full. You know, you get up at 8, get ready, you're at the convention center by 10, you sign autographs pretty much all day long, get back to the hotel at 3, lay down for a quick nap, usually head over to the arena at 4:30, get there, you know, obviously a high stress atmosphere whenever you're over there for 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it may be. You know, you get done. If you're lucky enough to win a buckle that night, you go to the South Point. I mean, you're not getting back in bed until about 1 a.m. And like, that's not a sustainable thing, especially when you're in such a high pressure atmosphere. Right. So like it's honestly 100% sleep is like at a premium out here.
So that deal too, like, this is kind of a 2-part question. Just in general, you're in a high stress situation. You know what I mean? Like, you maintain a calm, right? You've trained yourself, you've all that stuff to say, but getting on bulls, that's high stress in general. Like you said, you get all that stuff done, you get back, you're in bed by 1. Do you need time to decompress, or is it just you're so exhausted you're ready to go to bed?
Yeah, so usually it takes about 2 hours from the time like I get off to the time I can actually go to sleep. Which, I mean, we get pretty good at it. You know, throughout the year, it's the same thing going down the road. But it's, yeah, you definitely need some time to decompress, because generally speaking, you're wound pretty dang tight whenever you're calling for a bull.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it takes a little while.
So what do you do when you're back home to decompress and just get rodeoing off the mind?
Just chill. Honestly, like my getaway is, for one, just hanging out with my family, and then 2, playing golf. Is
Yeah.
like
What's your
those are my
handicap?
2 things. I don't know. It's horrible. I know that.
What's your average bull ride?
I was 35 one time.
There it is.
It was a red
Enough said.
Full name,
Hereford
Fu
cross
Manchu.
calf.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Fu Manchu. It was a little Hereford cross calf and a horn wrap. But anyway, that's
Nice.
a different story.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll shoot like low 80s generally. I busted in the 70s a couple times, but
So if you ever go with Donnie, like, I mean, I know you guys are talking world titles, but is he talking smack on the golf course? Because he's pretty good.
oh yeah. So Donnie is a little bit better than me at golf, and he makes dang sure that I know that.
How many cigars does he smoke in 18 holes?
A couple at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Miss Terry's got him trained to where he's only like 1 each 9. So
8 time. You're up.
Oh gosh, that's a character to be around. You know what I mean? He's just
Who is one of your most influential individuals, whether it's in arena or outside of the arena? Because I know you venture out in a lot of different scenarios of business and other aspects of life.
yeah, I've had a bunch of people. Honestly, like I feel like that's one of the reasons that I've had the success that I do. Like I'm a good student, and I learn really well from everyone. Obviously some people have helped more than others, but honestly, like I'm really good about like taking the good from everyone, like no matter what their stature is in the world or what have you. Like you can always learn something from about everyone you come in contact with. So, I mean, obviously Donnie is a guy that I admire a lot and lean on a lot. Because at the end of the day, like he's the only one that's done what I'm trying to do. Granted, it was a long time ago, but he's still the only one with any
Nonetheless,
experience doing it, right? So he's probably the one that I lean on the most at this point in my life for sure.
okay. So let's say with your high level of income and a little bit of health, you retire at 45. What kind of future plans does Sage Kimzey have after bull riding?
So the big thing was, and it's not like I plan on retiring, but
Well, 45 is a few years down the
yeah,
road.
yeah.
You got a minute.
I was talking to Alexis about it the other day, and I was just kind of like brainstorming some ideas. Because as athletes, we get the question all the time, well, what are you going to do when you're done? I'm like, well, I don't want to think about that. But so I kind of got to thinking about it. And like, number one, I want to have freedom of schedule, right? Like I want to be there for my kid and my family as much as possible, because the occupation that I choose and do now take me away from them a lot. So that was rule number one, was time. Rule number two was that I wanted to do something that was meaningful, and filled my cup up, if you will. The one thing that was kind of glaring with that is bull riding and rodeo. Like I owe pretty much everything I am, professionally speaking, to the sport of rodeo. So I wanted to give back there somehow. I didn't know how that looked. And then three, like obviously financial freedom is a big thing. So it has to make money. We kind of got the brainstorming, and I told Alexis, I was actually like scrolling through YouTube. I watch just a bunch of random stuff on YouTube all the time. And she was like, why don't you ever watch bull riding stuff? That's a good question. And I searched up bull riding tutorial, right? And there's some good stuff, but not much. Like the best bull riding tape still to this day is Bull Talk with Lane Frost, and I think it was released in like 1984. As a professional sport, that is not okay. That the best tutorial that is out there is 40 years old. And so like that's going to be the next transition. This fall, I'm actually launching my website, and it's going to have a bunch of bull riding tutorial there. It's going to start out with just the basics, and then we'll go from there. Because it is, man, like at the end of the day, this is the first time that being a rodeo cowboy is a legitimate career choice. And especially bull riding, like it's not super expensive to get into. You don't have to have a background. You don't have to have $100,000 horse to go be competitive. All you have to do is have a lot of courage and a lot of determination, and you can go make it work. You know what I mean? And so I really want to give like that outlet out, just have it out there in the world to where people can pursue it if they want to.
That's awesome. My son is 7 years old, and he's built bigger than I am, and he thinks he's going to be a bull rider. So I have to watch a lot of the Radiator Ranch type stuff. I'm like, bud, you're not going to be a bull rider, right? And he's like, what?
Don't
like,
put water on that
what do you
campfire.
mean? What do you mean?
I didn't tell him that. I didn't tell him
He
that. I
could be
didn't necessarily.
6'3", 275.
Ross
ride
Coleman was
bulls,
good. Yeah,
you know?
but I mean, Yeah, nothing
Just
wrong with
kind
there.
of
But
ice them in the chutes and be 75 a lot.
I didn't
Make the
put it
Montana
down.
Circuit Finals.
I
mean,
didn't
come
put
on.
it down that bad, but I go, son, do I look like a bull rider? He goes, no. And I was like, just saying.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it is, man. There's so much guidance for everything out there. Like
Yeah.
you want to remodel your house and you need to learn how to
YouTube
put
it.
tiles in your floor. Yeah, the first thing you do is you go to YouTube and you're like, oh, I know somebody's this baby thing. You become a new dad. I
Oh,
promise you can
gosh.
become an expert on YouTube
Absolutely.
very quickly with all the mom channels that are out there.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, bull riding just doesn't have anything like
Yeah.
that.
But that's also the thing. Here's the deal is you want to learn from the best. And there's guys that are world champions that are, many time NFR qualifiers. But it's like to be the best to where something like that, to where you're talking about is like, there you go. This guy's done it. I mean, like Andy said, 8 times going to the NFR, missed it 1 time, and it's like, how'd you fix that? And all of that stuff too, to where like you've got something like that. So that's impressive because then giving it back and then helping those other people and everything, that's a pretty good
it's
time.
not only that too, like you have to be able to articulate things in such a way that like people can understand what you're saying. Cause like, I feel like the Western like jargon kind of gets cloudy to say the least. I mean, like whenever somebody's talking about like pushing or lifting on your bull rope, like you ask 10 of the top guys out there and it's probably going to mean 10 very different things to every single one of them. And it's like, for one, I think that like instructors, they haven't done a disservice because they haven't really like thought about it in this way, but the instruction that's out there is just very clouded, right? And it doesn't really like break it down, especially to these young kids in a way that they can really like grasp it. You know what I mean? And then it's like trial and error and you don't really want to go about it that way. I just think there's a better way to learn, and that's what I'm going to try to provide.
Do you foresee yourself with clinics, or have you done clinics before?
So I haven't ever done clinics before. I do think that's definitely going to be in the future for sure. But honestly, like I think this online thing's going to be the way that I go about it. And granted, you can't replace, hands-on training, but at that point, like I can only get to, say you do 1 a weekend and you take 10 kids, like you're still not talking about that many people, right? Like this internet deal is going to be somewhere to where, kids having problems with bulls away from his hand, or kids having problems like getting over the front end of one. Like he can go right back to this video and cross-reference his videos with what the content that I'm putting out, and he's going to be able to do a lot of like the self-evaluate. He's going to be able to figure it all out on his own, which is going to be really, really good.
And not just in the U.S.
Worldwide.
Interweb. Worldwide, 100%, yeah.
Brazil has some good bull riders.
Well, I was thinking
Brazil's
Australia
crazy.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's
Brazil, Australia, I get written all the time from people over in Europe that like just want to get on a bull. And it's like, well, even then, right.
get on a Highlander.
Yeah.
It is though, but it's like, all right, well, at least I can give them somewhere to start. Like, buy these videos and you can at least like not put yourself in dire straits just wanting to do it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too, is like, even you look at any like team roping, right? Is you can there's tools that you can utilize to where you can go and get that foundation going, and you're riding your horse, but you're not roping real cattle. You're in a controlled environment.
Right.
So the same thing with bull riding is like, well, where am I going to get on practice bull? It's like, hey, maybe do these for, set up a building program to where, it's like you want to learn from the best on how to do it. And there you go. As opposed to, I'm just going to go put my hand in a rope and probably get all my teeth knocked out.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. And it's whether you're, there's steps and levels to everything. And like, for team roping, it's a perfect example. Like, well, you need to be at least a semi-competent horseman to be able to rope cattle. You know what I mean? So you can go kick your horse in a lope and lope around a few circles to like practice that. Well, how do you practice bull riding?
Yeah.
Right.
And
for years, it's been just trial by fire. And like, if you make it, cool. And if you don't, you don't. But like, so many of my friends had way more talent than I did growing up. And then either like something catastrophic happened to them and they quit, or they just didn't have like any of the guidance. And it's like, you hear it all the time in the rough stock end. They're like, oh, well, if he sticks it out, he's going to make it. And it's like, sticks out what?
Yeah.
Years of misery is what it is, because you don't get compensated. You don't win a whole lot.
Right.
All you do is walk into school all with a bum leg,
Right.
limping around. Like if we could shorten this learning curve,
Right.
we would have much better and way more bull riders.
Well, we all look forward to seeing what that looks like, and congratulations on number 7. More to come. And the baby.
Yeah.
I mean,
Number
congratulations
7 and and Steele too.
to you.
And Steele.
You and Alexis. That's awesome. And thank you so much for joining us here on NFR Extra.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.